Well, good morning, and on behalf of the U.S. Grains Council, I appreciate the opportunity to participate in the MAIZAR meeting and share the panel with my MAIZALL colleagues, as well as the other colleagues, Eduardo and Elena, as well. We want to say a special thank you to Gaston and Martine and Alberto and Juan Murphy for helping put together another successful conference. And I want to join my colleagues Claudio, João Carlos, and Sergio for their participation in the meeting. And I wanted to just again note that we're very pleased that Sergio has now just assumed the presidency of MAIZALL, and so we really look forward to working with him down the road. With the establishment of MAIZALL, we have forged a collaboration of producers in this hemisphere that plays an important role in communicating the benefits of modern agriculture and collaboration on biotechnology policy. We may be competitors on a day-to-day basis, but we are also partners in developing a global trading system that meets the needs and aspirations of a growing world. We believe it is the right thing to do. We have tremendous opportunity, and we are moving simultaneously on several fronts. As producers, we share an opportunity and a responsibility and a challenge. We grow corn, we sell corn, our market is the world. That market is growing. We've already heard Eduardo talk about the challenges of global food security. The middle class is growing very fast, and we see this, increased food demand as an opportunity, but again, it's also a challenge because we know as farmers, land and water are limited, and we have to grow on a more sustainable basis. We are confident we can do the job, but to succeed, we need to embrace technology, reduce waste, and create a global trading system that allows food to move freely and efficiently from areas to surplus to areas of shortage. So we urge liberalization of trade and recognize that the openness to trade depends on confidence in that trading system. But we face several challenges in important markets. MAIZALL has met with several government officials, and I will go into those markets in a few minutes. Here is our biggest challenge. There's 800 million people that go to bed every night hungry, but as the current trends suggest here in this chart, the world will not meet the projected demand for feed grade without some changes in productivity and efficiency. But again, as producers, we know this can be done as long as we're willing to embrace technology. This is just some of the examples of the technology that we are already using. We use GPS navigation to plant seeds and apply inputs with high precision. We benefit from conventional breeding and biotechnology. We have better farming practices to increase our plant populations. We monitor our fields closely. We map each field. We use the data to maximize that yield potential. So technology will continue to advance in all areas, and all these tools working together will help us improve quality and quantity. But in addition, we also see the challenge here in terms of the global supply demand. So you can see from the chart here that the biotechnologies had important benefits in boosting yield. Countries, including our three countries, have producers that accepted the technology, and it now dominates global trade. But of course, where there are non-adapting countries that haven't adopted this technology, they often resort to non-tariff trade barriers, and that's why we've had these beginning discussions with these countries. The first country MAIZALL visited in 2013 was Korea. Korea is obviously a major importer of corn. It's a great customer. Its regulatory system with respect to biotechnology has been good, but they have been having troubles with increased, slowness of approvals involving several different agencies, and it's resulted in some confusion and unnecessary delays. Korea does not also have a trade enabling policy for low-level presence, and that further constitutes some delays. So we've met with them, the ministry officials, our industry, to encourage them to adopt a better reform policy, to reduce the bureaucracy, because the pipeline for technology traits is simply going to grow and become even more of a challenge. The EU is a problem in and of itself. On paper, the European Union is committed to a transparent, science-based regulatory system, but again, we know they are inherently slow in their approval process. They have a system that requires the 28 member states to approve or not approve the final trait, and they never get a qualified majority to do either one. They've complicated efforts with this so-called opt-out proposal for individual countries. Luckily, it's received a lot of disapproval, and we hope that it is rejected because it's clearly a step backward, and it's going to complicate the problems that we have in terms of trying to address these issues. I forgot to cover China. China, the thing about China is that it is predictably unpredictable. They have an asynchronous approval policy, and unlike other key export markets, China won't even allow a company to submit a dossier until it's approved in the originating country. So that puts it immediately in an asynchronous situation. Their approval process is taking too long. The Ministry of Agriculture has a proposed rule out that would further slow up the process. They used to review events 3 times a year. They're now moving to 1 time a year, and they've tried to introduce the idea of looking at socioeconomic issues as part of their process, which will not be productive either. We also went last September to the WTO. You can see a picture here of our group with Roberto Acevedo, the Director General. We presented a united front as corn exporting countries of the America. Our message to the WTO is that they need to be part of the solution on biotechnology trade disruptions, because we need a regulatory system capable of proceeding in a timely, important science way. So we had very useful conversations with Ambassador Acevedo on strategies to elevate issues and get greater visibility to the WTO, and we intend to try and use those venues to make that happen. We also went to Rome and met with the Food and Agricultural Organization. Just prior to that meeting, it was fortunate the Director General, Jose Graziano da Silva, had called for a paradigm shift in a major speech on sustainable agriculture. And in that speech, he actually emphasized the importance of reducing the intensity of water and chemical use and exploring new technologies, and mentioned biotechnology explicitly as one of those. So when we met with him, obviously we were very happy to hear his remarks, and we urged them again that we need to continue to work together down the road. And again, we've established our contacts now with FAO, and so we need to continue to build and work on those. So finally, as we move forward with our efforts, there are 4 key elements to keep in mind: commitment to objective, transparent, science-based regulatory systems, adherence to a reasonable and predictable timeline so that decisions do not linger for years, synchronous approvals, and a trade-enabling protocol on low-level presence for unapproved events. It's important that we move ahead on all of these principles. At the level of political platitudes, everyone is nominally committed to global trade and food security, but we recognize that the world is going to become increasingly interdependent, and trade does foster growth. But the words are cheap. We need to walk the walk. We need to move forward together in a way that serves the interest of all parties to reduce these barriers to trade and allow corn to move efficiently wherever it is wanted. Corn grown in the U.S., Argentina, or Brazil can end up anywhere in the world. And these three countries, as major producers and exporters, are fully committed to modern agricultural technology. As producers, we are put in a no-win situation. Either we lose access to beneficial technologies that improve our economic and environmental sustainability and help address the challenges of global food security, or we risk losing access to markets because of asynchronous, non-science-based approval processes. This serves no one's interest. We need a world of regulatory and marketing system that allows our corn to move freely so that surpluses can go to where they need to be. This is our interest as producers. It is in the interest of our customers as well, wherever they are, and it is everyone's interest to have a global trading system that accommodates and encourages the adoption of innovative technologies so that in the long run, policies are science-based, predictable, transparent, and not politically driven and unreliable. Markets work when we let them. Our goal is to remove the artificial barriers and let markets work. Thank you very much.